Please subscribe and don't forget to click on the little notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Join me on my trip to Besançon with my kids, and we did a side trip to the Gouffre de Poudre, which is a separate video. This is day one. We found a really nice Airbnb. This is just outside of it, and we were really near the Victor Hugo birth home. This is me and my two sons, and we're just going up to visit the cathedral. This is walking through this arch that's right next to us. The cathedral is really beautiful. Always a good idea to get there when there's nothing going on, so you're not disturbing any kind of events. And this was the stained glass windows. It's broken up into several sort of chapels within the cathedral. This was very interesting. These are skeleton bones that are inside of this of a saint. And you can just see the skull here in the middle. I just love the patterns these chairs made on the ground with the lights behind it. And as we walked out, there was patterns of these stones as well. So it's very pretty. I love these wrought iron toppings on top of this wall. So we're just walking around Besançon, trying to get the lay of the land. Here we're down by the river. You can see the citadelle at the top of the hill here that we're going to visit the next day. But the river was completely still. It was like a mirror. And this was just a little offlet here with some lily pads on it. There was a little concert going on in the park as well, which was nice. And we got to walk around during sunset. The river was giving this magnificent reflection. And all of the restaurants are lined up here along the river. So day two, we go up to the Citadelle. We decided to take the little mini train, but I would honestly suggest just taking the bus up there because the train was not worth it. And there's a zoo also at the top. So as part of your ticket, which is like around €5, you get entry to the Citadelle and you get to view all the different animals. Here are these monkeys. It was feeding time, so we could see them up front moving around. Otherwise they're down inside this moat, this dried up moat. So we're going to see them from different angles during the day as well. So when you get into the paid portion and you turn to the left, you're going to see these stairs going up, and there's the Musée Comtois, which is the local area. So this was very interesting to me in particular. I think there was a lot more museums to see, but honestly, there was a lot already in this museum, and I don't even think we did the whole thing. We wanted to also go outside and see what else was there, and there's also the zoo, like I said. There's an aquarium that we did not visit, but we did go in the noctarium, so it was the night animals, which personally I did not enjoy because you could see live rats and stuff. So this is the view from the very top. And you can see right down to the river on this side. So we're on the right side. And later we're going to be on the left side. So you can see the river, kind of how it goes around there where the tree line is. And there's this map here, which is very helpful. So this, you can see here in the middle here, there's the old town and then the river going around it. So this is where the monkeys are. You can see they're just moving a little bit. This is the moat that's going around. And that's the bridge we were on when we first saw the monkeys. And now we're on the left side. So on the other side, it's a panoramic picture. You can see how this river Doubs is just winding around the city. And we were really lucky with the weather as well. It had been raining a lot recently, but this day was very clear, and the river at this stage is still very still. And now this is the zoo part. Down here you can see the cages and things. So there's obviously it was all endangered species. This is the whole idea behind this zoo. So these are endangered species, and they're really trying to keep them in a position where they're surrounded by nature and their natural habitat, so to speak. They try and replicate that as much as possible. And it's not this. Oh yeah, this was the peacocks. I thought this was really interesting. There's lots of baby peacocks, and they were just wild. They weren't protected by a cage or anything, so they could just like walk around. And there was these little tiny monkeys playing. They were really fun and cute. They just reminded me of my kids when they were little and they'd be playing together. So these cages, there's usually at least two. I don't know where the other one was here, but they were next to each other in another cage, and we had a picnic. So later that afternoon, we went on the boat trip on the Doubs, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by this. So this is something I would highly recommend. So the way that Besançon is in this river, it's like a big horseshoe shape. So where the two ends of the river are closest, they've actually built a tunnel under the citadelle. And what was really fun was we went through this lock. And here is now we're at the lower level. You can see the water on the edge here on the sides is where it's wet. Where the water's going to go up to that wet level. And here they are opening the little doors on the fence to let the water through. I'm sure there's a more technical term for this. And that's the water level there. And this water comes rushing in, and then when we get all the way up, so we went up about 2 meters in height, in elevation I should say, and now they are opening these doors so we can get through. And this is all done manually. So there's a lady on one side and a man on the other. And then we were able to come on through. So that's the lock just behind the boat there. I was just taking pictures of the reflection. It was very pretty. And so there's a tour. If you speak a different language than French, you just tell the guy and he has a recording that comes up. So somebody was German speaking on the boat, and so everything was in French and German. But of course, if you speak English and you want them to do it in English, they would do that. And they explained everything throughout. The trip is about an hour and 15 minutes. And we're coming up to this tunnel now that we have to go through, which is very interesting. You can just see at the top of the hill here, the citadelle. So we're just going through the tunnel now. And this is a 380-meter tunnel. There's a parallel tunnel for cars to go by and the next one. And they say obviously when there's the river is flooding or something like that, they have to close this. The boats are not allowed through because they would be scraping the top of the boat on the ceiling of this. There's a pedestrian path to walk through if you want to do that as well. And here we're on the other side of it now. So now we're 2 meters higher than the other side of the river, and we go through this lock, which now is an automatic lock. This is sped up so it doesn't take so long. And we come out on the other side. These lily pads laying on the water here are really pretty as well. So this is sort of like a little outlet here. We're going to join the main river. At the top here you can see the citadelle. It's about 100 meters above the river. So this is where I took the pictures the night before, and there was the concert over in the park. It was behind the wall on the right there. And now we're making our way around. This is coming into the part where there's lots of restaurants. It's funny because one side of the town seems to have more restaurants than the other. But this one, across from this bridge here, you're going to see lined up here at the top, there's all these restaurants. Now, there are apps to show you where the restaurants are, which would be a good idea because we did a lot of walking. I think we did something like 12 kilometers of walking the day before, and most of that was just walking around trying to understand how the city was built and where we could go to eat. So we did have dinner on Saturday night at the Manège, and I reserved in advance. Of course, this is a gastronomic restaurant. It's listed in the Guide Michelin, and this is our food that we had, which was lovely. A 3-course meal. We paid 33 euros for the 3-course meal, which you cannot beat. And the moon was rising. It was a full moon that night. This is up at the top there. This is our restaurant here at the bottom, lit up. And then at the top you can see the citadelle. So we were where that bright light was, looking down at the river the day before. And the next morning we found out there was a farmer's market down the road from us. So we went and we found a nice big croissant and a cup of coffee. We were able to eat it there. And then on the way home, we stopped at Le Relais du Terroir, where they have a lot of cheeses and meats and slices and things like that you can take. So if you see this big cheese wheel here, this is where you stop. This is what it looks like from one side on the way back. And if you're coming from Geneva area or from Vaud or Lausanne or wherever, then and you would see this side of it. So we were really excited to buy a selection of cheeses to take home. I mean, you can't miss this huge cheese wheel on the side of the road. And I should point out that there's absinthe in the area as well, and we did not visit it, but that's something you can do. So this was very interesting on the way back. This was in Juigna. It was very near the border. There's a cheese distribution, what is it called, machine, and you push the button and you can see what's available, and you can take, you know, one, you put in like A3 or something, and then it gives you the cheeses off of that. You can pay. So this is 24 hours. This is open every day. So if you get there at any other time and you don't have time to go to the other shop, then go there. So this is our dinner that night. So we got some fresh bread and tomatoes and figs from the market in Besançon, and then the rest of the cheeses we bought at the shop on the way back. So I hope you enjoyed visiting Besançon. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video, and if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that, and click on the little bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. I post videos once a week. Thanks for watching.